I found my credit card maxed out and $30,000 missing, right before my birthday. My dad snapped. The family needed it more. My mom laughed. You can celebrate alone. We had better plans. I calmly replied, then don't ever call me again. That night, I quietly canceled the mortgage, the truck, and her loan without a word. Hey everyone! Before we kick off today's video, I've got a favor to ask. We've noticed our channel isn't getting as much love lately, and subscribing is one of the easiest ways you can help us out. It's quick, free, and it means we can keep bringing you awesome content. Your support really means a lot, so let's work together to keep this channel growing. Thanks a bunch. Now, let's dive into the video. So, there I was, just casually looking over my credit card statement. My hands were shaking a bit as I tried to process the insane amount of money staring back at me in plain old black and white. Nearly $30,000 just gone. Poof! Disappeared. My birthday was coming up next week, and I was dreaming of taking a few days off work to chill somewhere sunny for a change, something I hadn't done in years. But now my savings were wiped out overnight. I quickly called the bank, hoping someone had pulled some sneaky fraud and hacked my account. The lady on the line kindly explained that all those charges were authorized by me. Yeah, apparently my signature and PIN were used, except I hadn't bought a thing. I started pacing back and forth in my tiny apartment, my heart pounding, feeling both angry and confused. Then it hit me. Only 2 people had access to my info, my parents. So, I grabbed my phone and called them. My dad picked up after a couple of rings, sounding all casual. Hey son, what's up? He said. I was fuming. My credit card is maxed out, Dad. Almost $30,000. Do you know anything about that? After a long, awkward pause, he finally blurted it out, something that sounded so defensive. Well, the family needed it more. You're doing fine, right? You make good money. My blood was boiling. You used my credit card? I shot back. He snapped, raising his voice, talking about how family means sacrifices and blah blah blah. Before I could reply, I heard my mom laughing in the background, as if this whole thing was a joke. She said, honestly, you don't need a fancy birthday trip. We had better plans for that money. Celebrate alone this year. It felt like my world was spinning, and I could barely breathe. I had worked hard through college, saved every penny, skipped fun nights out, and held off on vacations and new clothes, all for this. I forced myself to stay calm and told them, don't ever call me again. Before my dad could rattle off another entitled excuse, I hung up. That night, with the city lights twinkling outside my window, I sat with my laptop and opened up every account they thought I'd never touch. The joint mortgage I co-signed? Canceled. The truck loan I backed for Dad? Terminated. Mom's personal line of credit under my name? Erased. I did it all quietly. No drama, no explanations, just a few clicks. It wasn't about revenge. It was about finally setting a boundary I should have a long time ago. They wanted life without me? They were about to get it. Not out of spite, but because enabling them had almost broken me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in such a mess. How did a grown guy with a stable career get swindled by his own family? It didn't happen overnight. That's what's messed up. They were patient, even strategic. From the moment I scored my first real job after college, my dad kept reminding me how they sacrificed so much for me. You owe us, he'd say. Without us, you wouldn't even have that degree. My mom would back him up, asking for just a little help for the family. At first, it was small stuff, a few $100 for house taxes, a few thousand for my sister's dental bills. Dad's truck broke down, so could I co-sign for another? Mom maxed out her credit card, but just temporarily, of course. I told myself it was okay. I mean, they raised me. It's what a good son does, right? but temporary became permanent. Before long, Dad just assumed I'd cover their mortgage shortfalls. Mom stopped pretending she'd pay me back. My younger sister Madison, the golden child, quit her job to find herself and follow her creative dreams, while I secretly paid her student loans to save her credit. "You make 6 figures," Mom once said, waving her hand as if it was nothing. "We're not asking for much." Yeah, I made 6 figures, but after taxes, rent, and their endless emergencies, my bank account looked like a fast food worker's. Meanwhile, my friends were buying houses, traveling, and investing, while I was stuck in my cramped apartment, living on takeout, and pretending to build a future while using my funds to support theirs. Then came the worst hit. 2 years back, Dad lost his job after getting caught at embezzling from his company. I found out after I'd already lent him nearly $40,000 to cover his so-called rough patch. "It's just temporary," he promised, with that fake, humble voice. "Once I'm back on my feet, I'll pay you back in full." But he never did. Instead, he and Mom doubled down on using me as their personal ATM. My credit cards slowly turned into their emergency funds. They started using my name on loans without a word to me, faking sig job, natures, sweet-talking bank managers, and whispering, "Our son will cover it if anything goes wrong." And Madison? She played her role perfectly. So there's this whole drama going on in my life that feels like a scene from a soap opera. My family treats me like some kind of endless money pit. We're talking new iPhones, luxury spa trips, yoga teacher training, stuff they just charge to my card, saying they'll pay me back once their influencer dreams come true. "Just hang in there," they say, like my patience is infinite. Every time I tried to push back a bit, they hit me with guilt and shame. "Do you want Dad to lose the house?" they'd ask. Or, "How can you be so heartless when your sister's mental health is on the line?" Anyway, the last straw was when my mom asked me to cover this $15,000 loan for Madison's boyfriend. This guy claims he's an entrepreneur, but can't hold down a job for more than 3 months. Dad lost it. "You're tearing this family apart," he yelled at me over dinner. My mom went into meltdown mode. Madison stormed off upstairs, slamming doors like she was 16, not 26, and I just sat there, silently seething. Later, I found out they helped themselves to my credit and racked up $30,000 without even asking me. That was my breaking point. I canceled everything, and the next day my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Dozens of missed calls, voicemails, and a flood of texts, some begging, some furious, some just downright nasty. When I got home from work, my family was waiting for me, like I was about to be ambushed. Dad was fuming, Mom was crying, and Madison was acting like a brat. I barely got out of my car before Dad started yelling, "What did you do?" I finally stood my ground. "I did what you never did for me. I protected myself," I told them. Dad was freaking out. "The mortgage is frozen, the truck's gone, your mom's cards are locked," he screamed. "What gave you the right?" "The right?" I shot back. "You guys forged my name, maxed out my credit cards, and turned my life into a financial mess. Now it's your turn to deal with the fallout." Mom pulled the family card. "After all we've done for you, how can you do this to us?" But I had enough. Family doesn't steal. Family doesn't lie or use each other like a personal bank, I said. Madison chimed in, all smug. "You're being so dramatic. With your salary, $30,000 is nothing. We just needed a bit of help." I lost it. "A bit? You wrecked my savings, trashed my credit, and stole my future. I'm not angry anymore. I'm just tired." Madison rolled her eyes like I was overreacting. "You're welcome for the job. Dad practically got it for you. We made you." "No," I said. "You took from me, and I let you, but not anymore." Dad got up in my face, all menacing. "You think you're better than us now?" I kept my cool. The only thing I regret is not cutting you off sooner." Then he got all dramatic about everything they've done for me. "We gave you life and you repay us like this?" I shot back. "I worked 2 jobs through school while Madison was off on vacations. I lived on nothing while you blew money on trucks. I was always bailing you out. Enough." Mom was hysterical by now. "We're your parents. You're supposed to take care of us." "I'm not your retirement plan," I told her flatly. "I'm not your bailout. I'm not your servant." The neighbors had started to gather around, curious about the spectacle. Mom went performance, dropping to her knees, crying, "If you walk away, we'll lose everything. The house, Dad's health. Madison will be homeless." "Maybe," I said, "they'd have to finally face their own responsibilities." Madison screamed, calling me a monster, but really I just looked at them, all of them, and for the first time really saw what I'd been dealing with. And I told them, "No, you don't need me. So here's the deal. You guys were all about my cash, my credit cards, and needed someone to clean up the messes from your constant screw-ups. But let's be honest, you never actually needed me. To you, I was just a walking wallet, not an actual person." My dad, all fired up, lunges at me, voice cracking like he's carrying the weight of the world. "We made you," he's yelling, but I just look at him and say, real calm, "No, you broke me. But hey, I managed to piece myself back together, all on my own." And then I hit them with the ultimate mic drop. Don't call, don't show up at my door, don't text. Stop pretending we're a family, because as far as I'm concerned, we never were. Man, the silence after I said that was intense. They just stood there, stunned, looking like I'd said something in a language they'd never heard. Then I just walked right past them into my building, leaving them outside, feeling small and powerless, finally cut off. And that night? Oh, I slept like a baby. No nightmares, just freedom. Thought the drama had peaked right there in the parking lot, but boy, was I wrong. That was just the opening act. Once I cut off their financial lifeline, their whole world started falling apart fast. 4 days later, the mortgage company froze the loan because my name was no longer on it, and the payments they'd been dodging for months triggered a full-on default. By the end of the week, they got slapped with a foreclosure notice. Our childhood home, the one they always used to guilt-trip me about family sacrifices, was going up for auction in less than 60 days. I didn't do a thing. The system just did its thing. My dad's beloved $70,000 truck, this oversized monster he worshipped, got repossessed at dawn one morning. A tow truck came for it smooth and quiet. The repo guy didn't even give my dad a second glance while my dad was out in the driveway, barefoot, screaming in his bathrobe, "You can't take my truck!" But there was no saving him from that. By the second week, my mom's calls turned from angry rants to full-blown panic. "We're gonna lose everything," she'd wail in voicemails I stopped listening to after the first few words. "Your father's blood pressure is through the roof. Your sister's got nowhere to go. What kind of son does this?" I just deleted them all. Then, as I knew she would, Madison showed up looking like she hadn't slept in weeks, mascara running down her face like she was auditioning for a war movie. "Please," she begged at my door, "you can't just leave us hanging. You know I was just following Mom and Dad's lead." Tears were streaming down as she pleaded, "But I'm your sister. Just help out for a little while." I looked at her, and for the first time ever, I felt absolutely nothing. No pity, no guilt, no feeling like I had to help. "I'm done, Madison," I said with zero emotion. "Go home if you've still got one." And she whispers, devastated, "You're my brother." I just shook my head. "No, I was your bank, and I'm closed now." Security had to escort her out about 15 minutes later. She didn't give up easy, though. More texts, Dunn's voicemails filled with crying, swearing, trying to wheel and deal. She even sent distant relatives to plead on her behalf. "Just help them get back on their feet. They're still your family." You're being heartless. But you know what? Heartless was them draining me dry while smiling in my face, faking my signature, laughing while I missed out on everything to clean up their messes. Let them deal with their own fallout. By the end of the month, their perfect little world was gone. They ended up in a cheap two-bedroom apartment across town, far from the suburb they used to brag about. The eviction was a spectacle. Neighbors gossiped, and their friends vanished into thin air. My dad, who used to order everyone around like a big shot, was now just barely getting by doing part-time handyman gigs. His health took a nosedive without his meds. Mom tried to keep up appearances on Facebook for a while, but even her fake smiles couldn't hold up. The debt collectors were relentless. Madison's social media influencer dreams crumbled. Without my cash propping up her lifestyle, her followers disappeared. She jumped from couch to couch, relying on friends until they too got tired of footing the bill. She even tried getting an old buddy to reach out to me, saying she was in bad shape. Practically homeless, he said, uncomfortable. But I just cut him off. No, I said, I've done enough. Because the thing they never got was that every time I helped, they thought I was weak. But really, I was strong enough to finally say enough is enough. And when I did, their world crumbled from their own entitlement, while I finally got to live my life without all their chaos dragging me down. So I finally got my own place, a cozy little condo that's completely paid off and all mine. The peace I feel there is just amazing. For the first time in over 10 years, I'm not living just to keep someone else afloat. I actually got to travel, and not just the kind where plans fall apart or emergencies pop up. We're talking real trips: Iceland, Italy, Japan. I stood under the northern lights, breathing fresh air that didn't reek of guilt. Therapy turned into my rock. I worked through all the emotional baggage, guilt trips, and financial strains. My therapist once hit me with a truth bomb. You didn't have parents, you had leeches dressed as parents. And honestly, it clicked. Then, out of the blue, Madison's ex-boyfriend texted me saying, "Dude, I know everything now. They never deserved you. Sorry it took me so long to see it." Reading that made me smile, not because I felt vindicated, but because I finally felt at peace. For once, I wasn't the bad guy. I was free. It's funny because silence used to freak me out. Silence meant something bad was coming. Another call or crisis. Another guilt-laden request for money. Now, silence means freedom. The heavy weight on my chest is gone. No more calls, no more yelling, no more begging or manipulation. Just peace. Every night, I sit on my balcony, soaking in the view of the skyline. This is my space, my money, my choices. It's a constant reminder that I made it through. The anger? That's long gone. Now, I've got clarity. For years, they made me believe my worth was tied to how much I could sacrifice for them. Loyalty meant bleeding dry for people who didn't care if I was okay. They called it family, but it was never love. It was just a one-sided deal where I paid and they took. The worst lie wasn't the fake documents or stolen money. It was what they drilled into my head from day one, that good sons take care of their family, no matter what. But that's not true. Good sons don't turn into hostages or bank accounts. They don't lose themselves to people who only know how to take. Cutting them off didn't destroy me, it saved me. My mom's last message, still sitting unread in my inbox, says, "We didn't raise you to be this cold." But honestly, they didn't raise me at all. I raised myself, thinking love was carrying their burdens without a word. Their empire crumbled the moment I stood up for myself. Now, I sleep without debt collectors breathing down my neck or last-minute emergencies draining my savings. No more fake birthday dinners that felt more like audits than celebrations. I wake up, sip my coffee, and all I feel is calm. And you know, I'm not bitter, I'm not angry, I'm free. If you ask me what I regret, I'd tell you the same thing every time. Not walking away sooner. I chose myself, and that decision changed everything.